and welcome to Programming 101. This is the first video in this series, which is titled Let's Learn C. So firstly, a bit about myself. My name's Cameron Armstrong. I'm the founder of Minotaur Creative, and that is my website right there, minotaurcreative.net. At the moment, I've got two apps on the Apple App Store. The first one is called iQuadratic, and it's basically just a simple calculator for calculating quadratic problems. My second app is called iColor, and it is basically an app which will let you take or load a photo, and then you scroll and zoom in on that photo, and so you get what you want the app to look at right in the center, and then the app will get the color of the center. It will tell you the red, green, blue values, and it will give you the name of that color out of a list of approximately 1,000 colors in the database. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So, about this course, we're going to be starting from scratch with learning to program in C. No previous programming knowledge is required. However, if you do have some experience with programming, you shouldn't skip any videos because you never know, you may learn something. We are going to learn to create simple programs, paving the way to moving onto other platforms, such as making games on your Windows computer or making iOS apps. Okay, so what you're going to need is a computer, of course. So Windows, Mac or Linux will be fine. You're going to be needing a simple text editor such as Vim, Emacs, TextEdit or Notepad. And do not use a word processor such as Microsoft Word or Pages, because these applies formatting to your document which will not be able to be processed by the compiler when you try to make the program. Okay, yes, as I mentioned before, you're going to need a compiler, a C compiler to be exact. A couple of ones are GCC and LLVM. Now, if you have Clang, then you have LLVM, because Clang uses LLVM. Okay, so if you have Xcode already installed, or if you have build tools already installed in Linux, then chances are you have one or both of these installed already, so that's fine. These are free anyway. If you don't have these, you just have to get one of them. I recommend LLVM because it's newer. But obtaining these is just a Google search away. It is not the focus of this video. Now, if you want, you can get, this is actually preferred, you can get an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. This is a text editor and compiler in one, but it also has extra features such as version control and code completion. So if you start typing something, it will suggest code for it to complete for you. It will also check your code for errors. Some examples of some IDEs are Xcode for Mac, Microsoft Visual Studio for Windows, and Eclipse. Now, what is C? C was developed by Dennis Ritchie between 1969 and 1973 at AT&T Bell Laboratories. It was extremely popular with Unix and old MS-DOS PCs when it first started. It's a very powerful general-purpose structured programming language. Basically, you could write whole operating systems with C. It's a high-level programming language, yet it will let you go right down into the hardware level. So it's very powerful. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we'll get this out of the way. So, one way I suggested of doing this before was to open any text editor. So you can open that right up, or what I'm going to do right now is use Xcode. So I'm going to open that up, just move that, apologise, it's in my other screen, here we go. So when Xcode opens up, you're going to go right ahead and create a new Xcode project. Now, this is what kind of project you want to create. Now, what we're going to be doing is creating a OS X program, and it's going to be just a simple command line tool. Okay. Now this is just Xcode settings. If you've just opened up a text editor, you can just disregard all this. This is just how to set up Xcode for this particular project. Click on next. Enter a name. We're going to stick with tradition here and call this Hello World. Now for organization name, you can just leave that to be whatever you'd like. You can have it as your personal name if you'd like. And a company identifier, this has to be unique. You can just put in whatever you'd like there. But the convention is to use reverse domain name. So because my domain name is minotaurcreative.net, reverse the domain name is net.minotaurcreative. Okay. Now we're going to change the type here from C++ to just C. Click on next. Now we're going to be putting this in a folder of your choice. I just happen to group all my projects by programming language, so I have a C folder. Just do what you'd like to do here. In fact, I've even subclassed these down even more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder called Let's Learn C. Okay. Don't worry about source control for now. We're going to be dealing with that in a future video. Okay, now just click on create. Okay, let me just make this full screen. Okay, now you're probably feeling overwhelmed at this screen right now, but all you need to do is just go over here to this file here called main.c. And for those of you just using normal text editors, not using Xcode, just go ahead and just save your text document right now and call it main.c. Make sure there's no .text at the end. Now, if you just started this project in Xcode, you're going to have some code already in here. However, I just want you to select everything and then delete it. We're going to be starting from scratch. Okay, it's going to be a clean slate. Okay. Now, we're going to begin by typing in pound, or otherwise known as hash, include angle bracket stdio dot h, closing angle bracket, couple of spaces there. You can just leave one space if you want, or you can even have 10, but this is just how I like to keep it neat. Blank lines they do nothing, okay? They're just there to keep things neat and tidy for everyone. Alright, the next thing we're going to be typing in here is int main bracket bracket round brackets and then enter, curly bracket, enter. Notice in Xcode will automatically create an ending curly bracket for us, so that's handy. But if your program didn't do that for you, you can just go ahead and create one so that your document looks identical to the one here. Okay, now the next thing we're going to be typing is print f. Notice in Xcode automatically suggested something for us. However, we're just going to be ignoring that for now and typing it in manually. Bracket, quote, hello, comma, world, exclamation mark, quote, and bracket, semicolon, a couple of spaces there, return. As I can see there, it automatically suggested return, and I just push enter for it to autocomplete. 0, semicolon. And that's it for this program. I wonder if you can guess what this program does. But if not, let's have a look. To run a program, you just click the play button at the top left-hand corner. And this is what the program outputted to the console here. It said hello world, and then Xcode is informing us that the program exited with exit code 0. Okay, what the heck is all this? Okay, we have to break it down piece by piece. Okay, well, there is one clue here, but if we look at program ended with exit code 0. Now, 0, where did that come from? Well, we can see a 0 here. Now, what if we just change this to 7? Here we go. Program ended with exit code 7. Now, we're just going to change it back to 0 again, because an exit code, it's basically a number, okay, that tells you how what it was doing went. If it returns 0, by convention, it means it ran fine with no errors. If there was an error, we can make it return another number specific to the error that number corresponds to. But there's going to be no errors in this program, so we're just going to leave that at 0. Now, we'll skip this for now. Just have a look at this int. An int, that's short for integer. An integer is a whole number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, 1,000,000, that it has no decimal places, okay? And this includes 0. So this is just saying this whole thing here in these brackets is going to be returning an integer, okay? And here we just say that integer is 0, okay? Main is the starting point for all programs written in C. Every single program written in C has a main. This is where the program starts, okay? So main is enclosed in these two curly brackets, okay? So main, it starts here, it does this, and then it returns 0 and exits, okay? Now, printf is basically a function that prints text to the console, which is what this thing is right here, okay? So we put that in brackets, and then we put the text in quotes, and there you go. Now, all statements end in a semicolon, okay? All commands, basically, okay? So printf is a statement, it's a command, ends in semicolon. Once the computer sees that there's a semicolon there, it knows to move on to the next statement, okay? That's also seen here, okay? If we forget to add a semicolon, it's a very common mistake in programming. If you're lucky and you're using Xcode or another programming environment such as this, it will actually warn you and will say, oh dear, expected semicolon after a return statement. Fix it, insert semicolon. This is actually suggesting a fix for us, so let's just double click on that fix. And look, it gave us what we were missing here. Okay, so what is include stdio.h? We put includes at the top of the file, and this is basically extra code that we don't have to write ourselves. Okay, this is a whole library, okay? And this particular file gives instructions on printf, how the computer can output text to the console. Printf by itself doesn't instruct the computer how to output text. It knows nothing about printf. This include stdio.h is basically attaching code telling your computer how to printf. Okay? If you don't include this, then printf just won't work. Okay? Right. Now, one improvement we can make to this program is, you can see here, hello world, and then it kind of stays on the same line here. How about we add a new line? Now, printf, you can't just push enter here to add a new line, because that's not allowed with printf, okay? You have to use what's called a new line character, which is a \n. You may think, oh no, that's going to make it say hello, comma, world, exclamation mark, \n. But no, it sees the \n and it doesn't actually show it as that, it puts in a new line instead. So we click play here, hello world, and there's actually a new line here. Now what we're going to do is just show that you can keep on typing after the /n. Right. Click play there. It started programming is fun on the second line, but oh dear, we need another /n there. Sorry, \n. Okay, great. In fact, you can get creative with this. Well, but this, you can see that you can just scroll here. So yeah, what we're going to be doing now is just adding a title. So if anyone opens your program source code, which this is what main.c is, it's your source code, it's what you're typing out right now, and wants to know what it is, you can add a title for them to read. Anything that has been commented, it doesn't get processed by the computer. It's just there for you to read. To comment something, just do 2 / like that. In for Xcode for me right now, it makes it turn green. And anything for the remainder of that line will be a comment. So you can call this hello world And to continue on to do another comment in the next line, just do 2 more slashes. I'll just do copyright Cameron Armstrong 2014. Of course you can write whatever you'd like. The beauty of comments is you can actually comment anywhere and the rest of the line will be a comment for you. This prints to the screen. Now this may look like it's on another line, but this is just Xcode wrapping the screen. You can see that this is actually, I've actually got 9 line numbers turned on. This is all part of the 7th line here. In fact, if you resize this, it will, oops, yeah, there you go. Okay, see, if you push play now, it still does exactly the same. You won't see any of the comments. Good programming practice is to comment on throughout your code so you know what your code does. So if you stop programming for that day and you come back 2 weeks later, you'll still know what the heck you were typing. And so also for others to follow your code as well. Alright, that about wraps it up for this this video. In the next video we're going to be continuing with this and expanding on this and creating some interactive code. Okay, see you next time.